Howdy, my name is Robbie Porter, and I'm in a group with Victoria Gonzalez, Amber Muhammad, Michaela Sexton, and Andrew Young, and we are Group 45. Today we're going to be talking to you about Cajun cuisine.
Okay, so the Cajun grains, which are like rice and wheat and corn and different things that they use to make the different breads, originally originate from France, where most of the descendants from Louisiana come from, which are the people who made the Cajun cuisine. They used the ingredients they knew from France and made them their own in Louisiana. The types of bread that they used these grains for were cornbread, French bread, and beignets. Now, cornbread was for the lower class type of people, where corn was a lot more easily accessible to these people and nowhere near as expensive as the wheat of the higher class type of branch. Now, the cornbread could be made in many different ways. You can make it sweet, you could fry it, you could add things like cornbread casserole, and you can have jalapeno cheese cornbread, which is pretty popular in Cajun cuisine since they love their spicy food. Now, French bread, of course, they're from France, they know how to make French bread. French bread was mainly as a side dish to like gumbo, etouffee, jambalaya to dip and eat with. Also mellow out the spices of this spicy food. Now beignets are a special treat that they made, which are like deep fried donuts, but a little different. They powder them with sugar, and they're mainly used for breakfast or dessert. They're not an everyday type of bread that goes with all the meals. They're more for special occasions. Now, the types of popular Cajun meat are like seafood, alligator, and they can use these ingredients to make things like jambalaya. The seafood and alligator mainly came from the surrounding area, which is Louisiana, which is the coast or the swamp where most of these people were from. Now, most of these meats come from the sea and the swamp, or like cattle and pigs that were just around this place. Now, of course, the alligator and catfish and possums and whatever else they could come up with came from the swamp. And these were basically the lower class people who couldn't go out to the market and buy the beef and pork that the higher class could have. And the lower class of the people were the foundations for the Cajun cuisines because they were able to combine these meats in many dishes and make them their own. For example, gumbo has 3 or 4 meats in one dish, just like jambalaya has 2 or 3 as well. They were able to add these meats together, give them some spice and flavor, and not have to have the expensiveness that the higher class had. So the seafood like catfish and shellfish and bass came from the coast of Gulf of Mexico. The poultry like turkey and chicken came from the wildlife in the area. And then pork, of course, came from pigs, which they often bought to make like boudin. And boudin was a special dish where they used the sausage, they used the intestines from the pork and add rice and different grains into it to make it healthy, but not necessarily a full sausage. And then a miscellaneous, which came from the swamp, were like alligators and frogs and all those good things that we know Cajuns love.
Howdy, my name is Victoria Gonzalez, and I will be talking about different elements in Cajun dishes. Cajun food has many spices. Some of the spices include allspice, basil, garlic, chili peppers, tarragon, and thyme. Cajun cuisine also includes different veggies. Some vegetables include onion, garlic, okra, celery, bell pepper, and chile peppers. Cajun cooks tend to use these spices for different dishes, meats, and seafood. Some of these foods include redfish, shrimp, frog legs, crab, and crawfish. Not only do cooks use different spices for foods, but they use different colors for desserts such as beignets and their famous king cake. For example, the king cake has 3 different colors to it. Each color symbolizes something different. Purple symbolizes justice, whereas green symbolizes faith, and gold or yellow symbolizes power. They typically have these foods during Mardi Gras, which is a huge celebration. Other famous dishes that are not pastries include gumbo, jambalaya, and andouille.
As you can see here, again, we have some dirty rice, and obviously it's not dirty. What it means is there's bits of meat in there, and onion, and green peppers, and it's all mixed together with some additional Cajun seasoning that's been mentioned previously in the slide, and it makes a bland grain very delicious. There's also gumbo and jambalaya, which both of these are together inside of a pot. I'll mention it later in the presentation, but essentially all the flavors are mixed together, which is very symbolic of their culture. It's based heavily on their religious views, which is Catholicism, and the whole point of a meal is for their family or friends to get together and to share what they have, and for everybody to have equal parts. And again, here's a beignet. It's one of the delicacies of the Cajun cuisine.
This is a one-day meal plan for Cajun-style food that originated from New Orleans, Louisiana. A typical Cajun breakfast is the casserole that they eat. It has eggs in it. It has a traditional sausage in it that can come from different types of meat. It's typically beef or pork in the morning. And it has andouille sauce in it. And it's typically kind of spicy. And to counteract that, they eat grits with it. So it's not as spicy in the morning. A Cajun lunch that they eat is jambalaya. It originated from Spanish and French origins, and they have sausage in it that comes from different types of meats as well. And it also has smoked andouille sauce. In addition, it has other meats such as and seafoods in it. It could have chicken, shrimp, or crawfish in it, or even crab. And it also has the Holy Trinity of vegetables. The Holy Trinity of vegetables is known to be onion, celery, and green pepper. Cajun dinner is typically gumbo. Gumbo it originates from southern Louisiana as well, and it has strongly flavored stock in it and meat or seafood. Typically, it'll have one or the other. It can have both if that's what the person wants. And it has thickener in it, which comes from okra. It comes from like the seeds of okra, and it also has the Holy Trinity of vegetables in it, which is again is onions, green pepper, and celery. And this is also served over grits. A Cajun dessert is banana foster. This is also something that originated from Louisiana. It has bananas and vanilla ice cream on it, and it's served with a glazing of glazed sauce on top, which has butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, rum, and banana liquor in it. And a very traditional drink is the Cajun drink called Hurricane Cocktail. It has sweet alcohol in it, and it's a sweet alcohol beverage, and it has rum, fruit juice, and syrup in it. It's typically served at Mardi Gras, and it's at many different bars that are like local and traditional in Louisiana. Cajun foods typically in a day have sausage in it. It's a primarily like thing that they eat almost on the daily. It also is heavy on seafood like crawfish, crab, and shrimp. It's also served typically with grits to counteract all the spices that they use in their cooking. And all the foods originate from Louisiana.
As you can see here, there are 4 different Cajun dishes which are very popular. In the top right hand corner, it's called fish and chips, and obviously it's not literal chips, but it's a kind of a play on words, if you will. It's fried catfish that's usually caught fresh the same morning, deep fried, served with french fries on the side. In the top left, you can see there is some delicious gumbo, and there's some rice in the middle, and then there's some okra, and there's some meat in there. Usually it's accompanied with sausage and some kind of chicken and peppers and stuff like that. And then down right here, you can see there's jambalaya, and there's a crawfish on the top of it. This is one of my favorites, is a crawfish broil. It's when they put a lot of crawfish in a giant pot with some corn and other vegetables and spices, and they all blend together, and it's a really delicious treat. And then you can see in the bottom right, there's some beignets, and essentially what those are is they're fried dough pockets that are either empty on the inside or they have some kind of fruit pastry in there. It's really delicious.
Hello, my name is Andrew. This is a history over Cajun food. The Cajun flavors were developed by Acadian settlers that established themselves in Louisiana. Acadians were French settlers from Acadia region of Canada, right over here. These settlers were pushed out by the British in 1755 to Maine and southern Louisiana. Due to Louisiana being a different climate, Acadians were forced to adjust to the food available around them. This is how Cajun food was born. Today, Acadian food presence can still be seen in the one-pot meal style shown in all 3 of our meals planned. On this slide, I have places you can go get Cajun food. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. Louisiana is our neighbor. But I made a grocery list of the items we needed for our meal plan. But if you would like a better selection of boudin, you can go to Reedfield. They have an awesome selection of meats and boudin. And then these are our sources, and that is the end of our PowerPoint. Thank you.